developing countries. So we have many similar situations and problems and solutions. We can work together to achieve the best results for these issues and problems that we face. So we see really a very large area of commonalities that we can work with. And also, as you put, we see ourselves as neighbors. We have an author in Brazil that worked a lot on African issues and who very recently passed away, unfortunately, a former ambassador to Nigeria, actually, Mr. Costa Silva, and he has a book that is titled A River Called Atlantic, in which he really tells about the history of Brazil and Africa. And it's, I mean, with that kind of conception, we really see the Atlantic shore countries as really our neighbors, as they really are. And we should, I think, work and improve the ties that we have. With Namibia in particular, we take pride on having relations that actually predict the independence. And actually, I myself, when I entered the ministry, one of the first tasks that I helped work on was a workshop in Rio de Janeiro. I think it was in 1987 that for SWAPO, and President Sam Nujoma was there, and it was something at that time quite I mean very important to have taken place in Brazil. And well, since then, we opened an observation office here in 1989, and we then I think President Sam Nujoma visited Brazil 3 times, and President Lula also came here in 2003. So we do have a history of relations at the highest level, and we wish to continue that. Now, I think also talking about the South Atlantic, one of the largest coastlines in Africa is that of Namibia, and we will be celebrating next year 30 years of our naval agreement. And we also take pride in the fact that we have a very important place in the establishment of the Namibian Navy, and many officers were trained in Brazil, and that I think also gives us another area of great possibilities between our two countries, because well, Navy is something absolutely fundamental for a country with a coastline the size of Namibia. And since we face each other, I think it's only natural that we pursue this cooperation even further. And it's something that I think is part of our main areas of cooperation with Namibia. And we are also supporting the projects that are aimed at enhancing the food and nutrition security and vulnerable communities in Namibia. And we are working together with Namibia to improve the school feeding program. We also have we started a dialogue between Brazil's Public Defender's Office and the Namibian Ministry of Justice. I mean, these are all areas where we have, I think, a lot of commonalities in terms of solutions to problems that face developing countries. And Brazil, in some cases, has been able to provide certain solutions that may be very relevant for other developing countries. And in this case, I think we have already an agenda which is significant. Also, with regard of the diplomatic academy, where in Brazil it's called Rio Branco, as you know, the patron of our diplomacy, and Namibia has very recently established its own academy too. And there also we see a lot of scope for cooperation. We receive in our academy students from various countries, and I think we can also work on that to be able to receive Namibians as they go through their training program to actually work as diplomats. And another area that we are looking forward to is the cooperation between police forces of Brazil and Namibia. This is an area where we have already made some proposals, and we can work on those as well. And I think another area which is very innovative in a certain sense is the creative industries area, where our ambassador has been, I think, working a lot on this, bringing sort of a film workshop and a Brazilian famous filmmaker, and that's an area where I think this country probably has also a lot of material that can be worked on, and people who are keen on developing their own skills in the creative industry, and it's something that is, let's say, quite exciting in terms of a new area where we can find also common ground and sort of more to work on. Well, we can discuss, I think we will be discussing all these issues in greater depth as we progress on our talks today. It's these perhaps other areas where it may come up, but I mean, these are the ones that we are focusing on. I would like also to announce, to take this opportunity to announce a further donation by Brazil, in this case of 120,000 US dollars through the World Food Program in Namibia to the Food and Nutrition Security Projects. This is something that we already engaged in, and we have already provided, I think, 220,000 US dollars. Now I'm happy to be able to announce this additional contribution. Thank you. As of course is a token of our commitment to help Namibia fight food insecurity while creating job opportunities for women also and for youth. So this is something that, as we were talking, is an area where I think our experience can really be useful to other countries. Now, we are ready to work together in the social and economic development of our citizens, and I think this is really the gist of our action, bilateral action. But I couldn't close without mentioning let's say on the wider global arena. Brazil is has just taken up the presidency of the G20, and it will be working there to, among other things, to enhance the agenda of reducing inequalities, both between countries and within countries, also working on sustainability, of course, as one of the major issues of our time, along with reducing inequalities, and also working on energy transition. I mean, these, let's say, main themes that we will probably be sort of more engaged on, which is a wide agenda with the G20, but of course we will be trying to take to that forum these issues, plus the reform of international organizations and institutions, both political and economic. We feel that there is a lot of scope on working on all these areas areas that are, as we see it, very relevant for developing countries. This will be throughout next year. We have just taken up the presidency on the 1st of December, and this will last until the end of 2024. And then in 2025, we look forward to hosting in Brazil the COP30, which, as we all know, COP28 is ongoing now in Dubai. And but 2 years from now, our expectation is that we will be endorsed to host COP30, and that will also be, I think, quite an important occasion, not just because of the centrality of sustainable development and climate change issues today, but also because it will be taking place in Belém, in a city in the Amazon region. So this region of the world that is so much talked about and portrayed as really very, very, very important biome and fundamental for the issues of climate change. I mean, we'll be actually hosting this major conference of our time. So I couldn't not refer to this, let's say, these wider projects in terms of what Brazil intends to do within President Lula's orientation, really to come back to the world stage as Brazil is doing since he took office at the beginning of this year, and in a way that is very connected also to our comeback to Africa, within which this initiative and this meeting within our own schedule of meetings is taking place. So we're very happy to be here and to take up this discussion with Namibia at this time. So thank you so much, and thank you very much for your hospitality. Thank you.
It's just admitted to the G20, and it makes a huge difference for us as Africa, because for a long time we felt that we have been left behind, not by our own making, of course, but by history, where we come from as a continent. And I have to also welcome your sentiments in terms of the reform of the international institutions, both political and economic. For a long time, of course, we sit in the same platforms where we advocate for the reform of the Bretton Woods institutions, for the reform of the Security Council, of course, the United Nations itself. And I think on those issues we share the same views as developing countries, and I'm sure looking forward to further discussions on how we can support each other on these platforms. And let me also welcome the donation of the $120,000 US. I have to say it's a pity that your stay would be very short. The ambassador could have certainly made sure that to take you particularly to Zumpwe, where Brazil has really made a lot of effort. And to such an extent that Brazil has drawn in the African group also in Namibia to want to be part of that initiative that Brazil really started. It is something that is at the heart of the Deputy Prime Minister, who is unfortunately not here, whom certainly would have eager to meet you, the chief in here. She's also attending COP28. Yeah, and so we really appreciate those efforts that Brazil has made. But I think let me take this opportunity to also introduce my colleagues around the table. I have Ambassador Sabine. Welcome her. She is the head of our bilateral department. And then I have Ambassador Jerome Shanika here. He is the head of our multilateral department. And then we have Ambassador Morina Munjo. She is the head of our International Women Peace Center, who I think we also want to tap in terms of collaboration with Brazil, because I think when you look at your participation in peacekeeping missions, the role of women becomes a major talk of the event. And I think our cooperation, military, navy, and the police, would also speak to how we can engage with the Women Peace Center, because we take the issue of women in a very serious light. And, the Women Peace Center was established in 2020, and it's an idea that comes from around 2000, when we chaired the presidency of the Security Council,
Yeah.
when we presided over the resolution that has become famous, and that's the resolution on women, peace and security. And so that's where it is coming from. And then we have Mr. Edo Kayani, who is the director in the bilateral department. We have Ms. Nangula Shiavali there. She is from the Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board in IPDB. And then colleagues around the table. Of course, I have Karumendi and Masakayama there. These are desk officers from our bilateral department, who is one responsible for Brazil.